Yes, everybody, welcome back to Talking Wolves. Welcome back to a brand new match preview on the channel. Wolves have had a little break from Premier League action, but it's back this weekend. Of course, we weren't taking part in the FA Cup last weekend after being knocked out against this weekend's opposition. But the transfer window's officially shut as well. It's given Wolves a couple of weeks to get most of the new signings to bed in, get used to the squad. And, overall, I think it was a good window for Wolves. Of course, you could have the debate whether Wolves should or shouldn't have signed a new striker, but we'll wait and see. Obviously, just between now and the end of the season, all focus is on the Premier League, and with that, we have Liverpool visiting Molineux on Saturday. It feels like we've played Liverpool a number of times this year. Well, we have. We've played them twice in the FA Cup, but actually haven't played them in the league as of yet. So this weekend is the first time that we're going to be facing off against Liverpool in the league. And we probably, we're playing them at a half-decent time. I think they've got a number of injuries. They're sort of out of form at the moment. So it's probably a good time for Wolves to be playing Jurgen Klopp's side. Wolves put out earlier on today a little bit of an injury update. Nothing really that concerns this game too much. Boubacar Traore's just had surgery, so he's in rehab at the moment. Pedro Neto is very close to returning to full training. So I'm assuming sooner rather than later we'll see him in a matchday squad, which of course will be fantastic. And again, Chiquinho and Sasha Kalajdzic are still out injured for a while. But other than that, you would expect Wolves to have a fairly fresh, fit and available squad. Of course, Lopetegui will confirm that in the coming days or so. João Gomez was a big signing this week coming from Brazil. He hadn't played much competitive football in a while because obviously it's been the off-season in Brazil. So he may well be part of the squad on Saturday, but I wouldn't expect him to start the game against Liverpool. Of course, we're going to see potentially full debuts for other players. We've got Pablo Sarabia in there as well, who I'm really excited to see. Craig Dawson could well be within a shout of starting for Wolves as well. Liverpool are without a win in their last 3 Premier League games. Of course, we've played them a couple of times in and amongst that. I thought we gave them a really good game at Anfield, and I think we all know Wolves probably should have come away with a win if it wasn't for that VAR controversy. We held them fairly well at Molineux, I thought, but it was a poor performance by ourselves, really. Liverpool, in my opinion, didn't really have to get out of first gear in that match. But their last 3 Premier League fixtures, a 3-1 defeat against Brentford, a 3-0 defeat against Brighton, and obviously a 0-0 draw against Chelsea as well. We'll talk a little bit more about their injury issues and their form as well later on in the opposition part of the preview as well. One thing to mention ahead of this game as well, you would have seen Wolves talking about sort of green football and sustainability and so on over the last week or so. They've confirmed today in a new partnership that they have started off the One Pack, One Planet initiative. And with that, all Wolves players and match officials will be wearing sustainable green armbands this weekend. So keep your eye out for that one. It's in Wolves' words, to put the conversation about climate change and sustainability on the world stage. So that will be one for Saturday as well. But let's jump into my predicted lineup for this game. Of course, there's a couple of players that may or may not be in and around the squad. It just depends on what Lopetegui thinks, who Lopetegui thinks is ready for it. But this is the team I've gone with. Jose Sá once again in goal. Of course, we had the arrival of Dan Bentley, but I don't think he'll be troubling start as of yet. Left back of Hugo Bueno. 2 centre-backs. I've gone with Dawson ahead of Kilman, but I could so easily still see Kilman and Collins in there. I've gone with Dawson and Collins with Semedo at right back. Midfield 3 once again, and Mateus Nunes, Mario Lemina and Ruben Neves. And then a front 3 of Daniel Podence with his new bleach blonde hair. I'm sure some of you would have seen that on social media. Mateus Cunha through the middle and Pablo Sarabia on the right-hand side. So really looking forward to seeing that team. I think that front 3, let's see how they can get on. But now I spoke to Chris from the Red Men, who gave us his thoughts and perspective on Liverpool's season so far and what we can expect from the Reds ahead of this weekend's game. So, Chris, thank you for coming on Talking Wolves. Liverpool this weekend. I was just saying on our preview, it seems like we've played each other a handful of times already, which I suppose we have, but not in the Premier League as of yet, mate. So it's been a strange season for Liverpool. I was, again, 3 Premier League games without a win for you, and probably not where you want to be in the league. But from your perspective as a Liverpool fan, sorry, I'm chucking them all at you there. From your perspective as a Liverpool fan, what are you thinking?
Am I allowed to swear?
Go on. Far away.
Yeah, it's fucking
Yeah.
shit. Oh my days, mate. I feel like, to be honest with you, that we've just played Wolves and Brighton for a month.
Yeah.
Because obviously Brighton have handed us a couple of beatings there. Wolves, deserved probably to go through at Anfield in the cup. We were terrible that night, and obviously we get you in the replay and stuff, but
Mm.
it's just been diabolical for us this season. And like to the point where we're talking to people now and they're all like, are we just writing off this season? And it feels like we're just writing off this season, which is a bad place to be in halfway through a year. Like, just don't understand what's going on at the club right now, to be honest with you, mate.
Yeah, I mean, you've had so much success, Champions League, Premier League over, the last number of years. This year, I think everyone expected you and City, to still be competing with each other at the top. And I know you've struggled with your injuries and so on, but out the FA Cup, out the Carabao Cup, you still got the Champions League to focus on, although, it's a difficult game against Madrid. But from your point of view,
Yeah.
what do you think it is? Is it injuries? I mean, I know this week, I think, is it
Oh my
Van
God.
Dijk and Konate aren't available. You've had a lot of trouble with that as well.
Yeah, we've had tons of injuries, mate, but we've got a big squad as well. We should be able to deal with these things. I think, we've had Kanate out and Van Dijk, as you mentioned, Diaz, Jota, Firmino's out at the moment, Nunes has missed games, and Henderson's not the player that he was. But, I think it's well publicised. We played 63 games last season. We were a couple of games from immortality, and I think that's had something on it as well, a bit of a hangover from last season, not getting the two trophies that you really want to get. It's great winning the Carabao and the FA Cup, but if you could preference 2 out of the 4, they would be the Premier League and the Champions League. The heartbreak in Madrid, in Paris, against Madrid. Obviously, everything that went on around that final in terms of the stuff that Liverpool fans went through was difficult to deal with. We've had a bit of upheaval behind the scenes. The fellow who's been managing the transfers for Liverpool for the last best part of 5, 6, 7 years, Michael Edwards, has left. His replacement, Julian Ward, was supposed to be a smooth handover. He trained him up, Michael Edwards had, and then Julian Ward hands his notice in. We've not had the investment that we needed from the owners. There's just a catalogue of things that are all making a massive, massive difference to what's going on. I can't understand the lack of transfer activity this January, to be honest with you. Buying another left winger seemed a bit nuts when we clearly needed the midfield. The squad's aging, you name it. We've got a problem with it at the moment, mate, to be honest with you.
What's the stance on, and you might call me stupid if you're even asking the question, what's the stance on Klopp and his position at the minute? I know obviously he's brought you so much success, but are there any sort of percentage of fans that are putting the blame on Klopp for the season so far?
I would be lying if I told you I hadn't seen anything, but I've only seen rumblings online at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
From everybody that I'm speaking to, the lads I go to the game with and the girls that I go to the game with, nobody's talking about it. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's back the boys. He'll turn it round, write this season off, but, we'll come back stronger. That's the type of feeling around it. I have seen stuff online, but I don't put too much into social media movements, or small social media movements, I should say.
Yeah, I think that's the right thing. And it's always hard when you say, let's write the season off, especially, I suppose, for a team like Liverpool, when you've been so successful and the team is capable of so much more. But sometimes, you're going to have to do things like that. Ahead of this game, Chris, like you mentioned the 2 FA Cup games. I thought, we went toe to toe with Liverpool quite well. I thought the game against Anfield was a good game. We were unlucky, with the whole VAR situation. I thought the replay at Molineux, we weren't great, and I don't think you really had to get out of first gear to get over the line, to be honest, in that game. So I think Klopp would have been satisfied with that result. But looking at this Wolves squad, you'd expect us to be strong again. Are there any Wolves players that worry you ahead of this game on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Nunes is a quality player. Neves, obviously, for the ability to hit a long range. How often he ever does that, I'm not
Yeah.
100% sure, to be honest. It doesn't feel like it's very often, but he still scares you, you know what I mean? And Adama Traore obviously played the other night and gave us a few problems early doors, but never seems to touch wood, do it against us. In terms of getting out of first gear, I'm not sure we can get out of first gear at the moment, though, Dave, if I'm being honest, mate. Like, attacking wise, we're really, really weak at the moment. Defensively, we're not great, and we've actually changed from a high press to a mid block over the last couple of games because we're just leaving ourselves open and exposed, as you saw in the first game at Anfield. Fellas just running through the middle of our team, almost unopposed at times, and anyone with a little bit of pace and anyone attacking, the flanks at the moment is going to have a little bit of joy against Liverpool. And that's why we've moved to this mid-block. We've looked a little bit more resolute. Brighton didn't have it quite as easy as maybe a couple of weeks ago when they spanked us 3-0. Chelsea was obviously a 0-0 against another struggling side, but an important point for us regardless. So, I'll be honest, listen, I don't think Wolves are very good. I don't think Liverpool are playing very well at the moment. In terms of form, we're probably about the same, and that says a lot about what I think about Liverpool right now, because we just can't. When when your team's playing well, and any football fan, I think will understand this. You've got a type of goal almost, haven't you, that you like to try and score. Liverpool are completely lacking in those regards at the moment. There doesn't seem to be a coherent plan with how we move the ball up through the pitch and work space and get Salah in. Like, Salah's just not scoring from open play this season. It's just complete drop off. We've brought Nunes in, and he seems to be the one that is getting all the chances, and nothing really has fallen for Mo during games, and it just seems very awkward after having such stability in the front three for so long with the likes of Mane, Firmino and Salah, to go with now Salah plus Nunes or Jota or Harvey Elliott's played up there, and the likes of Gakpo and Diaz. I mean, we just don't seem to know what suits three players that are playing at the time up front. So it's been tough sledding, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping Wolves can get now. Window's done. Just a little bit of consistency in the lineup, especially since Lopetegui's coming in. I don't think he's decided what his favourite lineup is. He started a completely different front three against City than what we expected, and almost blamed himself in the press afterwards. So I don't think he'd go with that again. But
the first game we played them, Dave. Sorry, mate. The first game we played during the cup, that was like a second string side for you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But fight that each and every one of those players showed during that game. And then we go replay. All your players come back in. Your normal players
didn't look asked. Yeah. I know. It's really, really weird, that was. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised that first game, like with the players that he put out there as well. It was a really good performance, and I thought, Alisson did, looked a little bit sloppy, and once or twice the defense got caught out as well. But I know you mentioned Nunes there, Chris. Obviously, there's a lot of talk at the moment that Liverpool almost pre-agreed something for the summer. What are your thoughts on him? What are your thoughts on that potential signing happening this summer?
Yeah, I think, look, I'll be honest, I think Liverpool were a bit stupid to let him go in this, the summer just gone. Obviously, he signs for you guys. He's registered, therefore, for two clubs. He can't be registered for a third club at any point during this season, which is why I think Liverpool didn't go in for him in January. We've heard the rumours about the pre-agreement. I'm not sure that's quite the case, although he definitely is a player that Liverpool want to sign. I'm sure of that. But it will be in the summer when we move for him. I'd like us to sign him. I think he's a really, really good player. He came on with about 20 minutes to go, didn't he, in the Anfield one? And he looked the best midfielder on the park by a country mile. He was slaloming through players, and that's what you can expect from a quality number 8, isn't it?
Yeah. It'll be interesting. And again, I still think, and there's a lot of Wolves fans moaning about that, the fee that I think the Telegraph are mainly saying that the fee, and it wouldn't give Wolves a huge amount of profit. So I would be intrigued if the move happened to see what the fee would be. But I suppose
what did you sign him for, Dave?
Oh, you're asking me now. Let's quickly look. I think basically, I think the fee that they've been talking about would only give us maybe 6, 7, 8 million quid profit, which is still a decent amount. But we signed him 45 million, so probably just shy of 40 million quid. And I think they're talking about maybe 46, 47 million to Liverpool off the top of my head. Yeah. So
wow.
We'll wait and see. We'll see what happens.
It sounds like us. We're tight bastards.
We're talking about obviously Wolves Liverpool as well. I've got the Betmate game this weekend. Both obviously talking Wolves, and the Red Men are partnered with Betmate. This weekend's an interesting one. I've mentioned it before. We've had a couple of free games this season, but if you haven't got involved in Betmate before, it's definitely worth doing it this weekend and for the rest of the month. Actually, they're doing a lot of free games with any paid pot this month on Betmate. So just get involved, see what happens. You don't really have to even put a penny in this month. But the private pot for this one is Wolves Liverpool. So the code is WOL-LIV. Chris, let's talk about the team that you've gone with. I'll flag it up on the screen now as well.
Hey, that's
go
a
on.
beautiful side, isn't it?
Go on.
Yeah,
Talk
of
me through
course. You've got to
those
back your
picks.
own side, mate. Alisson Becker, best goalkeeper in the world. I'll give you a little bit of advice, Paul. Paul has been captaining or vice captaining goalkeepers, and he's getting some
Yeah.
serious points with it.
Interesting.
Joe
Okay,
Gomez
yeah.
because he's likely to start, Robertson because Trent Alexander-Arnold isn't making assists this season, Naby Keita because he's likely to start and join the front three at times, Darwin Núñez, I've captain, hopefully he comes back in. But obviously, we know you can change your side right up until kickoff. So as soon as the team comes out, I'll be right on my Betmate team. Gakpo, because at some point he's going to have to score his first goal for Liverpool. Hopefully it'll be this weekend. Núñez because he's your best player.
Yeah, I mean, I've said heavy Liverpool. Look at my team now. I've gone the same
Oh,
thing.
hello.
Only because I think you're still favourite to this game. And the thing is, on Saturday evening, if Wolves win, I'll be happy. If you win, there's a chance I'll win a bit of money anyway on the bet, mate. So I've gone with
I
Alisson as
can't
well.
believe you've gone
Robertson.
against your own team, mate. I
Mate,
cannot believe you've gone against your own team.
It may change, like you said, 5 minutes before kickoff. But Robertson, Joe Gomez. I've gone with Thiago, captain with Pedence, vice. But again, those could change. And then I've gone with Salah and Gakpo as my front two. But yeah, as always, guys, UK residents only 18 plus. Please gamble aware. Yeah, Chris, you sound impressed with that team anyway. So let's
Listen,
wait and
I'll
see.
be absolutely fuming if Liverpool win and you beat me because you picked the better Liverpool players than I have. Imagine like how stupid I will look after devoting 13 years of my life to a YouTube channel and stuff following Liverpool, and you as a Wolves fan can pick a better Liverpool five-a-side team than me.
I'll
That'll
be
be
interested to see
gutting.
the goalkeeper thing, because I think if you can get a goalkeeper that could keep a clean sheet and make a good few saves, having him vice or captain is a really good
Well,
idea, to be
Paul's been
fair.
doing it with teams that we're playing. So sometimes, like, you get 7, 8 saves, which are a point or 2 points apiece. And then if they get a clean sheet as well, like even without a clean sheet, you can get a good 20 points from a goalkeeper as a captain. So
That's
it's quite a
amazing.
nifty little tactic that he's won quite a bit of money with. Now, I can't copy him completely, so I've just doing vice captains because otherwise he'll be
Yeah,
made up. He'll be like a pig in shit. Don't want that.
there you go. No, that's good bet, mate. Tip. But yeah, the link to join that, guys, it will be in the top of the description. Chris, to finish off the preview, score prediction. Go on.
I think Liverpool are going to win by 1-0.
I think it'll be a close game. I think it will. I'm hoping that Wolves turn up and we see. So we've had a little break now. Obviously, you've played the FA Cup last weekend. We've had a couple of weeks. So I'm hoping we see a reaction from Wolves, but we'll wait and see. Chris, the Red Men, what's going on over there? Why should people go and check it out?
We are doing a brand new podcast on Thursday evenings. It's going to be mental. We've got one of the top comedians in the country, Adam Rowe. He runs the biggest podcast Patreon in the UK for Have a Word podcast. So we've got him as a guest. It's called Thursday Night Pint. We're going to have a few beers. We've got James Sutton, who's a Hollyoaks actor, formerly of Emmerdale and everything else, joining us. It's going to be footy, but it's also going to be much more than just football. It should be a good show that any football fan can enjoy.
No, really looking forward to that. I'll make sure I leave a link to the Red Men in the description down below. Chris, thank you for jumping on Talking Wolves, and I'll speak to you very, very soon.
Nice one, mate. Have a good one apart from this weekend.
Cheers, mate. So big thanks to Chris. Be sure to go and check out the Red Men. I'll leave a link to their channel in the description down below. Once again, be sure to check out the Betmate game. Free to join this weekend and free pots all across their app this month. So definitely worth checking that one out as well, guys. Let me know your thoughts and score predictions in the comment section down below. Fingers crossed for 3 points of Wolves. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all very, very soon.